Hey you guys, today I'm going to be using the LDRS Creative Crazy for Daisies stamp and die set along with some really easy watercolor backgrounds. So let's start with the backgrounds. I just have some clear water in a spray bottle and I spritzed some watercolor cardstock with the water, and today I'm going to be using some watercolor shimmer powders to do my backgrounds. I'm kind of just figuring out how big this main image from the Crazy for Daisy stamp set is, and once I realized it's going to pretty much fill up my entire card front, I just decided to go crazy with these watercolors. So the way these powders work, you're going to see me use them a couple ways. So this first way here, I sprayed the paper with water, and then I added some yellow, sprayed some more water, added some red, sprayed some more water, added some blue, sprayed some more. So you can see all these colors are moving and blending together, and I'm going to end up with a lot of purple right down the middle. And so once those colors started blending together, I grabbed my heat gun and dried that panel. And I didn't like how it was looking, so I set it aside and I grabbed a second watercolor panel. And this time I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I started with just a little bit of water on my cardstock and added some of that yellow powder and then sprayed a little bit of water. That first panel, I really saturated those powders with water. This time I'm using less water, and you can see me even dipping my finger in to move the powders around because I didn't spray so much water that the powders broke up completely. So I'm using my finger to do that. And I'm just going to continue adding colors one at a time. So now I'm going to go in and with some green, just add a little bit of water and I'll dry that. So I'm going to get mixing of colors, but not blending as much as on the first background. So you can kind of see how it's coming along here. You can definitely see distinguishable areas of yellow, green, I added some red, and now I'm coming in with some blue. And again, just adding a little powder, spraying with a little bit of water, and drying that as I go. So you can definitely tell, and I'm going to bring in that first panel in just a minute here. You're going to be able to really see the difference here. The first one, all those colors blended together, and the second one, those colors are a little bit splotchier. So I really liked the look of the second panel more than the first one. So this is actually that second panel. I had sprayed it with some water, picked up some of the color with my towel, and then added some more colors. So I added some more green and I added some more blue, and so I kind of got the look that I was looking for rather than just having a bunch of colors blended together. I also created a third background where I kept color concentrated in the center, and I actually used some black in the center and then green and then yellow towards the outside. And I wasn't sure that I liked that one. It actually ended up being my favorite panel because the way that the watercolor worked, it ends up right where the flowers are and it kind of fades off. The color goes fades off towards the outside. So I have this large image from the Crazy for Daisy stamp set. I'm going to put one of my backgrounds into my MISTI, and then I'll use my LDRS Creative Watermark Emboss ink pad to stamp this. Now, because I did watercolor with a wet medium and then I had all those other powders on there, I wanted to make sure that I used my anti-static powder tool to make sure my white embossing powder doesn't stick everywhere. So once I inked up this image with the Watermark Emboss ink pad on all three of my backgrounds, I sprinkled on some white embossing powder, also from LDRS Creative, and I'm just going to go through and heat set this and check out how vibrant and white this image just kind of pops off of those multicolored backgrounds. This here is that third one that I did off camera because I didn't know if I was going to like how it turned out, but see how that dark color concentration is in the middle and then it fades off, so actually like the leaves are kind of green and everything. When I redo these cards, because a lot of times I like to create cards and then I go back and create more of them, I think I'm definitely going to follow that design and keep a dark color concentrated in the center with some green for the leaves and everything on the outer portion. Now the Crazy for Daisies die set is a unique die set. It's one of the LDRS Creative Pedal Pusher die sets. So I'm going to adhere this die down over this image. I apologize that my head is in the way, but you really do want to make sure that this is centered up right over your image because this is not going to actually cut out the flowers. it creates little cuts around certain portions like the petals and some of the leaves so that they can pop up from the paper and create a 3D effect on your cards. It's super fun and it's very subtle in the finished cards, but it really makes you look twice at the card, and it's just so fun, especially with the shimmer powders in the background. And you could do this technique with regular watercolors, with alcohol inks, ink blending, anything like that, and it really is going to give that extra pop of dimension. So I'm adhering all 3 of these backgrounds onto card panels, but when you're adhering them, you want to make sure that you don't add adhesive to the portions that are going to pop up. So I added adhesive around the outside and then around where I could see the die cutting portions of the image, but not over the die cut images. So I didn't add any adhesive behind the leaves or the petals that were going to be popped up. So now you can see I'm just kind of bending my card a little bit and pushing my nail underneath and popping them up. It's really easy to do, and the dimension is so fun. So let's look at all 3 cards that I made. This one is definitely my most favorite. I love, especially with that Crazy for Daisies coordinating die, how that center flower pushes up from that darkest area of the background. Here's another one of my backgrounds, super shimmery, and I love the way that Crazy for Daisies image pops off with the white embossing powder. That's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you again soon. Bye.